Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, with the big day arriving, Haruto's family gathered to see Haruto off, checking to see if Haruto and Liza are all set. Haruto states that he has asked Liza is still uneasy about hiding her horns and tails, but nonetheless that should hide the fact that she's not human. Just then, Flay voices her sadness at not getting to be by Haruto's side, but Char is more focused on telling Haruto to have fun at school. Cutting to a grown-up Prince Laius, still bickering with his sister, Princess Marianne, who has barged into his room to show off a letter. Deducing that the letter is just to tell them that Haruto has just left his home, Laius asks that Marianne not waste his time, but Marianne reminds Laius that he was the one that had recommended Haruto for the Royal Academy. Getting flustered, Laius brushes off his obsession with Haruto, as simply needing an equal that can help him get stronger, but he still can't hide the fact that he's excited to show off his new skills to Haruto. Happy to see that Laius's defeat at the hands of Haruto has tamed Laius, but Laius suddenly fires back, stating that he knows that Marianne had also recommended Haruto, even going as far as to personally asking her father for a favor. Believing that Laius is accusing her of being obsessed with Haruto, Marianne yells that she is not in love with Haruto, but that makes Laius back off, as he didn't actually think she was in love with Haruto. Changing topics, Laius asks about the new cult that is at Mariana's school, prompting Marianne to explain that a new church of Lucifria is believed to have infiltrated the school, with rumors that the members worship an ancient demon. What makes it worse is that the church's influence is spreading across the kingdom, with additional rumors of the church planning on overthrowing the existing monarchy. Additionally, several nobles have already joined the church and began funding the church's schemes, one of which includes their mother, the Flash Princess Giselet. Voicing his frustration, Laius wonders the reason for his mother to be siding with a cult, wondering if the collar she had acquired 5 years ago is the reason for her change in attitude. Admitting that he personally fears his mother, Laius mutters that the kingdom is aware that their father the king, and their mother, Queen Giselet, is on bad terms and the church is trying to use this turmoil to their advantage. Throwing out a random thought, Laius wonders if their mother is trying to overthrow their father, but hearing this, Marianne also suggests a crazy thought, stating that she believes that Haruto has the power to resolve all this political conflict. Talking about Haruto, Laius brings up the urban legend of the Black Knight, stating that the Black Knight serves Haruto's family, even able to defeat a dragon. Just then, their mother, Queen Giselet, enters, asking what her children are chatting about. Greeting her mother, Marianne happily calls out to her mother, but before she can finish, Giselet grabs Marianne by her throat, lifting Marianne into the air, demanding Marianne to not mock her collar. Asking his mother to stop, Laius calls out to Giselet, prompting Giselet to release Marianne, brushing off her burst of emotions as a little joke. Turning to Laius, Giselet reveals that she had been eavesdropping on their conversation, asking Laius to grow close to Haruto, in order to learn more about this mysterious Black Knight. When Laius hesitates to respond, Giselet glares at her son, forcing Laius to promise he'll find out what he can about the Black Knight. As Giselet leaves, Laius wonders if he's dragged Haruto into his messed up family affairs, apologizing to Haruto. Cutting to Haruto, we learn that he had personally headed to his wooden hut, instead of heading directly to the capital, planning to use teleportation magic when his school starts, but until then he intends to chill in his hut. With Flay begging to accompany Haruto, Char is forced to interrupt, stating that she'll take care of Flay, as Haruto leaves for the capital. Using his teleportation, Haruto and Liza head to a nearby forest near the capital, as to not reveal Haruto's teleportation magic, but suddenly they both spot a stray bison chasing a carriage, forcing Haruto to quickly transform, heading to rescue the carriage. Before Haruto can reach the carriage, one of the wheels breaks, swerving the entire carriage and flinging a kid out of the carriage. Luckily, a silver-haired woman catches the kid, asking the remaining carriage passengers to flee, offering to distract the bison. Catching Haruto's attention, Haruto watches as the woman takes the bison's charge head-on, but seeing the woman thrown around, Haruto steps in, knocking out the bison. Seeing the woman hurt, Haruto immediately heals her, shocking the woman, as she doesn't sense any mana from Haruto's spells. Just then the kid runs up to thank Haruto, watching as Haruto fixes up their carriage, noticing everyone watching his repairs. Wanting to repay Haruto, the silver-haired woman asks if she can repay Haruto in any way, but Haruto says that the bison was no problem at all, so the woman says she hopes to meet him again to repay Haruto in the future. Taking the unconscious bison elsewhere, Liza and Haruto feed it, sending it back off into the forest. Finally making their way to Haruto's school, Liza can't help but note a strange sense of familiarity with the silver-haired woman. Making it to the school, Haruto spots a crowd, forced to line up. Drained from lining up, Haruto is forced to go through a pile of paperwork, finally able to see his room, realizing that Liza also gets a room to herself. Too socially exhausted, Haruto suggests the head back to the wooden hut, where he won't have to be around other people. Upon using his teleportation magic, Haruto and Liza are greeted by Flay and Char, who have been awaiting their return. Asking about everything Haruto had experienced in the capital, the girls watch as Haruto lays on the couch, clearly exhausted from being around too many people. Speaking up, Char asks if they can eat out in a restaurant, but Flay interrupts, stating that she will personally cook a meal for her master. Pulling Flay aside, Char whispers something into Flay's ears, instantly changing Flay's opinion, who is now all for eating out at the capital. Casting an invisibility spell with his barrier magic on Flay, Haruto helps Flay hide her ears and tail, prompting the gang to teleport back into the capital. Wandering around, the gang settles down for a meal, swiftly gobbling down the delectable meal. Now on to business. Char brings out a map, assigning Flay to survey the south part of the kingdom. Liza the west part, and Char with Haruto will explore the east part of town. Curious at Char's reason for having a map, and assigning roles to everyone, Char states that although they're here to have fun, they need to also get used to this new location they'll be spending the foreseeable future in. With everyone splitting up, Char turns to Haruto, revealing that she had planned out a date for her and Haruto. Knowing that this will be an important memory for his little sister, Haruto immediately accepts, visiting various stores, food stands, and even buying a necklace for Char, unable to say no to his little sister's wishes. As the sun begins to set, Haruto runs after Char, who accidentally collides with someone. Upon catching up to Char, Haruto realizes that it's the same silver-haired woman from earlier, but is suddenly called out, as the silver-haired woman senses an overwhelming amount of mana from Haruto. Not wanting to get found out, Haruto states that he only has a level 2 mana, prompting the woman to apologize as she rushes off, not wanting to be late for a part-time job interview. As the silver-haired woman runs off, Char mentions how the woman feels familiar for some reason, making Haruto wonder if Liza and Char can sense something that he can't from that woman. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and comment.